I'm going to press the go live button. And we're live.
Hello, welcome to Friday Teaming 10. We've had a little bit of a break, just a few little struggles around organisation and getting everyone together, but we're back. Today we have Ben, John and Andrew. Would you like to say hellos?
Hello.
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 Today we're going to do a kata called the Banking Kata. So it's a little kata where you create a bank or an account class, and it's got like deposit and withdraw and a print statement method on it. But we're going to do it within the restrictions of object calisthenics. So object calisthenics is a idea from Jeff Bay, written in this book back in, I don't know when it was, way back. It's 9 rules, and they're 9 rules to apply to object-oriented code as calisthenics, so strength training, so to improve your object foo. And then once we've worked through this, we'll get to the end and we'll talk about how practical these rules might be in real code, whether or not you adhere to these all the time or some of the time or never. Let's see what the opinions come out at the end. So the kata is create a class called account, deposit, withdraw, and print statement methods. So deposit the amount in int, withdraw the amount in int. So, it's money. So int will be pence, I guess. So 100 pence for a pound. And then we'll have a balance here. Interestingly, actually, it's a statement. So a statement is a string that's returned back. Who's breaking the code while I'm talking? So the statement is a string that will be like formatted out like this. Maybe we can make it a bit more flashy and put some currency symbols and things on there, but we can just stick with the raw numbers. We may come to doing a sort of slightly evolved version of this, but we'll see how far we get with this one, see whether or not this pushes deep enough into object calisthenics before we start looking at that one. So I'll skip over this one and I'll introduce it if we get to it. So let's talk about the rules of object calisthenics. So there are 9 rules. The first one is you're only allowed 1 level of indentation per method, right? So you can move in 1 block for like a for loop or an if statement or something like that, but you can't put another one inside there, right? So here's an example of a bad one here where we've got a for loop. That's then 1 level in is the if, and then we've got a second level in here, which is doing the throw. So a solution to that might be that you extract the contents of this out. So you've got the if statement, the for loop here, and 1 level in it calls a method, and then that method then has its own 1 level of indentation. Number 2 is we can't use the else keyword. So no ifs and elses. There are various ways you can solve these problems. You can maybe the else is implicit, so you've already set the value and the if changes it. Maybe you can use early returns. Maybe you can use shorter expressions. The next one is wrapping all primitives and strings. So if we have any primitives, ints, strings, booleans, anything like that, then we can't leave them on their own. We have to wrap them in a type. I bet Andrew loves that one. So every primitive has to be turned into a type. So for example, here you've got a name which is a string and an age which is an int. So we create classes for those, maybe one for the name and one for the age. These have exactly 1 value in them because they're just wrapping a primitive, but they're giving a type to that primitive. And more importantly, you are likely to bring actions onto that as well. So they're not in that example there yet, but we're talking about sending messages to objects rather than just having them as bags of data. First class collections is the same as wrapping primitives in strings except for collections. So rather than passing lists of users around or list of whatever, then we pass a user collection around. So here we've got a list of users, then we might like iterate over those users and do things, whereas instead we wrap the list in an object and then have a method on it to do the specific iteration that we want it to do. So talk about it being an action, send a message to all users rather than loop through the users and send a message to each one. Yes.
I don't know Kotlin. What does the val keyword mean on line 224?
Okay, so val is immutable. It's like a const. Var is mutable.
Okay, thanks.
Fifth one's the law of the meter. So 1 dot per line. So a class can call a method on a collaborator, but it can't call a method on a collaborator's collaborator. No, does that? Sorry, have I got that right? So yes. So the order can it can't call customer.email.send. It can only call customer.something. So you're only allowed to go one level. You're only allowed to call things on your direct collaborators.
Neighbor. Yeah.
Don't abbreviate things. So just give things proper names. Keep entities small, so no class over 50 lines long. I think we can probably do better than that.
That's exactly why we're using Kotlin.
Yes, indeed. So maybe we go for more like 20. This is a fun challenge. So no classes are allowed more than 2 instance variables. So for example, here we've got a person's name, we've got their email address, we've got their phone number. Well, that's 3, so we can't do that. So we have to find ways to group them, right? So email and the phone number might be their contact details. So then it's just got the name and their contact details. No getters, setters, or public properties. So no just exposing the data directly, create methods that do things. So for example, here, this send email function here takes a customer and then it just accesses the data directly and then sends the email. We don't want to do that. Instead, we could maybe move a message into a function into the customer, say, send a message, and then that has access to the things within it to send the emails, and you can use some inversion of control to achieve that kind of stuff. Any questions about any of those, or we're ready to go?
Are you gonna, Tom? Are you gonna police us?
I'll probably take a bit of a backseat in the design and more of a kind of shout out if there's something.
Remind me. I think with the getters and setters aren't properties in Kotlin public by default, and we need to make sure to make them private. And
mic off.
We'd need to make things private to ensure
mic
that
on.
encapsulation. So it's calisthenics. It's a workout. We are pushing object oriented to extremes and seeing what happens. Hopefully forming opinions and grievances. So who would like to? So okay, just a quick one on. Yeah. So we've got Kotlin as an example test here and an example thing. If you want to just have a look at it and see how it works. If you're not familiar with the language, you might be able to hit Control R, but if you can't, you can run a Gradle command.
Okay, right, yeah, cool.
In the
That's fine.
In the CLI. So long as you can see them, Ben, like John's just run them now. Did you see that?
I didn't run them.
I pressed the play button in the ID. I was just wondering if it works.
Okay. So cool, that works.
Yeah. So you're the one sharing the screen, so you'll need to do that.
Yeah.
When that happens. Okay. Cool. Who would like to drive first?
I'll go.
I don't think.
Nominate John.
There we go. Yeah. So John.
Which window shows shows test output, by the way?
It appears in a little pane down the bottom, which you might be able to see if you find a little play button down the bottom left. I don't know if it's there in here. If not, should we just do it in the terminal?
Play
I,
button
I think
works.
Have you got it?
let's go old school. Let's do it in the terminal, but just like Gradle,
Okay, cool.
Gradle wrapper test isn't
Makes sense.
working.
Do you want me to let me get one up and running? Hang on. Where's the terminal? Open the terminal. There we go. So can you see here?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Export.
bottom is for some reason. Oh, there we go.
Java
Okay.
Home. There we go.
Oh, is that what was missing?
Yeah.
Hey, there we go.
There we go.
Awesome. Cool.
Cool. So we can run the tester then. So John, over to you.
So John's driving. So what's our first requirement for the banking kata?
Let's see. Write a class account. Shall we start with that?
Let's
Yeah.
do it.
All right.
I can't seem to open this example test. I'm double clicking on it. Can someone
Should be able
open
to write the test first, right?
Yeah, we're TDDing this as usual.
So
Have you-
example test. Is this it? The example test?
Which file are you in, John?
I think I'm in example test.
Yeah, it says, does this work? Does this test work? That's the example test.
All right. So shall we write a new test called account test?
Do you want to do it in a new file? Shall I?
Yeah.
I might need to create the file. Let me account test.
So
Oh, this is nice.
I want to say we have a class account. So how do I start the test here? Is it fun?
At test. Yeah.
At
Back.
Yeah, so maybe for starters, let's just do,
returns account.
we'll just create the object for now, right? Let's just get the boilerplate set up. So fun.
You don't, I suppose.
And normally I do this as a side effect of the first behavior I was implementing. How would you
Yeah,
guys normally do it?
I think I agree with you actually. The first behavior in the README is a deposit. So
no, yeah. So in order to test the deposit, you're going to need to, like, you can call the deposit, right? But you want to assert something. So I guess do a deposit and assert that it appears in the statement.
Statement is empty by default.
There we
No.
go. That's a good.
Yeah, we could do that one.
Yeah.
Empty. Right. So we want to say okay.
So let's create.
Sorry, our example test used a string, right?
Statement equals.
So we need to create, so instantiate our account class, and then run print statement on it, and we expect our print statement to be empty, right?
I'm gonna have something like this. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't need to do new, do you?
No.
And then something like assert statement as no.
So it would be,
Only headers, right?
yeah, only headers, I guess.
So how do you do an assert?
Yeah. So equals.
Equals actual statement. And the expected statement, take it from here, is with nothing else. That's it, right?
Yeah, I think for now that's all
How
right.
does that sound? Yeah, just to start with.
That's a good start. I mean, we'll obviously modify this as we go on.
Okay, no class account, right? I expect.
Yeah, so let's create that class.
Right. You want me to do that? I'll do it. Can you do it? I don't know.
I don't know. Generate.
No, I'll do it, John, because it's just one hit. It's one button here. So I'll extract to a separate file.
Please wait. Host is working with a create class account dialog. Nice.
There we go. There we go. So it's there in. Oh, it's gone into account. That wasn't intended. Hang on a minute.
Oops. Yeah, it's taking object-oriented a bit too far.
It's not going to work.
Why is it automatically creating a subfolder for it?
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I must have clicked something wrong.
Seems to have picked it up, and now I will run the test again, and it says that no method, format statement. Is that?
Yeah,
I can't see the test failure, but I expect that's what it is, right?
Yeah. So at the moment, we're still got a compiler error because its format statement doesn't exist.
Yeah. Right. So I will add.
I'll hit. Hang on. I can do the same again because I got there. There you go.
Oh my gosh.
Oh. Sorry, I was using the IntelliJ power.
Yeah. I thought I could do that, but I can't. Where they? Right. Why is account squiggly? Oh, because you need to.
It's because it's got to return something. Yeah.
Let's return empty string. Oops. With run the test. Assertion expected, but was it's the wrong way round.
Yeah, the assert equals is back to front.
Let's fix that first. Yeah, expected data balance, but was empty string. Am I implementing as well?
Yeah, why not, John?
Doing ping pong. Yeah, right. There we go. And no, that's the wrong thing I copied. Hooray. Now, do we want to apply object calisthenics already? Or any kind of refactoring? Or are we good?
I think we're okay for now.
Yeah.
Do we need that comment in the test?
No.
Tom, are you allowed to return native values, or do you have to wrap those as well?
Interesting question.
Good point.
I think I'm open to interpretation here, but yeah. I think like for me this particular function here is allowed to because it's part of the required API. Like that, like if we look at the README, it says string. So my take on it is start with primitives going in, and then as soon as they get in, start to wrap them.
Yeah.
I'll write a second test, and then maybe we can move a little bit forward with it.
You write a comment in Kotlin, double slash.
Yeah.
Double slash. Yeah.
Statement as deposit. So I am going to do a deposit, and I will expect transaction. So account deposit But for now, to start off, it's going to be int.
Yeah.
I
think.
And
I mean, it has to be.
that's
the requirement.
Really?
Yeah.
But Object Calisthenics says it shouldn't be.
So again,
I mean, because like we have to keep the external interface as per the requirement, but internally is where we'll be applying the calisthenics.
Basically, right, Tom didn't think this through, right?
What was that, Andrew?
Tom didn't think this through.
I said, basically, you didn't think this through.
No, hang on. I see you're exchanging tabs for spaces, I think.
Well, then we have to make sure I thought it would make it simpler to just have. Are they tabs? If they're tabs, then fine. Then just
I
do
don't know.
tabs.
I mean, it definitely looks like there's, it's kind of formatted as a table. But okay, we could come back to it.
But the IDs turn them into spaces anyway.
You hit /T if you want to do tab.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm not fussed about this one.
Could we do a multi-line string here instead?
Yeah.
So rather than having like the hashtag, sorry, not the hashtag, the \n.
It's probably.
Can you actually do that with
like that?
Is it a triple quote or a triple back quote, Tom, to do a multi-line string?
Good question.
It does plus automatically when I make a new line.
So multi-line literal. So you can use it's triple quote, but then you're going to have indentation. So you can put a dot trim indent at the end, and it will get that on. So put a new line. And then dot trim indent.
Oh, that's nice. Trim indent.
Trim indent, capital I, paraphrase. That's the one.
Oh.
Right. Run the test.
Do you want me to create the deposit?
Yes, please. That's quick. Run the test.
Oh.
So did we decide not to line up the headings?
The tests are passing?
Yeah. Oh, because there's no assertion.
There is.
There
is an assertion.
Hang on, did it run the right? Does it run the right test? No, it only ran the one test.
Yeah, okay. Because you need to run. You need to run the whole class. Yeah.
Okay, not implemented.
Yeah.
Am I?
Do you want to swap over?
Yeah, let's rotate. Let's
go on. Somebody else type.
I can type.
So.
What do we want to do here then?
Well, if there is an amount. Oh, hang on. We can just say deposit changes the statement.
Did we want to line up these column headings?
So we can. I think we can do that later. We can do that later. But so how do we want to? Okay. How do we want to store our state, right? Because we've got.
How about we just have I don't know. A balance.
Just have an internal string that we modify.
No, I was thinking more like if balance, then we put in the new statement. Otherwise, the empty statement.
Right, but so we need a we need a member here, right? So we need to say. But no, because when you look at the assert equals, right? So like date amount. That's a simple one. So you could have something like everything has to be private, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but private in front of it. Okay, val. Yep.
private val balance, I guess?
No, is it? It might.
Or int.
Might be. It might be var. No, the type goes after.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a problem.
Equals 0, I guess.
Yeah, it needs to be instantiated.
Initialized will be abstract. Okay.
Initialized. Yeah.
Right, and then here we'll do balance plus equals amount.
Plus equals. Okay.
Do I need this, or is it automatically?
No, it's
automatic.
Yeah. And then here we can do if balance greater than 0.
Oh, you still need brackets, eh?
Yeah.
Then we do what?
You can turn it into an expression, but let's leave that for them.
Later stage.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I'm just going to copy paste this.
Oh. Well, you could just copy.
Yep. It should work.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Amazing. We have a working bank account. Deposit.
Which, if you deposit any amount, you will always have 500 money in your account.
Sounds good to me.
You can also never withdraw anything.
Yeah. So, should I modify the existing test or create a new one?
Wait, are we not applying any calisthenics at this point?
Yeah, could do.
I mean, right now the tests aren't forcing us to do anything yet. But I suppose we could do, right? So like...
But we need to wrap that primitive, don't we?
Well, yeah. I thought... Yeah. Money.
So like we could...
Or amount. I don't know.
So I think, can we just before, I think we've done one step too far. So on line 15, can we not add? Can we just do equals?
Right.
And then let's do a, like you say, let's make balance to some sort of money type that we can
add.
We can
do
something with, yeah.
So we create a money class.
Is it class money, or is it because it's basically a type alias? Is it still a class in Kotlin?
So you could do data. You could do data class. I think it's probably the right thing to do.
So a container class for money.
It's like a record, I think.
But, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that has some, like, that's our class, and you can just do private.
Although we'll probably want
other way around
methods on the money class.
Yes, you can do that. So put a val in front of that. Val. Yeah, cool. So there's our, but it's not. That's an int. So this is our route.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
So now we've done that. Now, yeah. So we can make that into our money 0. We have to init that 0's broken now.
Yeah.
Cool.
0. Nice. Yeah.
So now line 17 and line 7 are broken.
Yeah. So balance is money with amount in it.
Okay, right. So here we go. This is where it starts getting annoying. How do we set...
Yeah, just wrap amount in money here.
So rather than why are we using a data class instead of having a balance class, which we add and subtract from?
Well, because your balance is a number, whereas the account is what you add and subtract from.
Yeah.
So so for me, it doesn't make sense to like have another layer of object which is just doing the exact same thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, okay. Let's see what the test makes us do.
I think we end up with a transactions class or list or something.
Yeah. And this is going to fail though,
So
because we can't do this if statement anymore.
No, so you're going to have to. You got to. Well, you can. You could cheat because it's a data class. You could say balance is not equal money 0, or you could add a method onto money to check, like, is it 0 or something like that.
Yeah.
But you could just say not equals money 0 because it's up to you, whatever you like.
So do we need to remove?
It's 0.
Do we need to remove the data keyword now because you've got a method, or can you have?
No, it can stay there. No, data is fine. All the data does is it does like equalities based on the properties.
Oh, I see. Right. So it makes sense for a value object.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we do if balance is 0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not.
Yeah.
Cool. Run the tests.
Cool.
Still passing. Are we happy with this refactor so far?
I can think of a few things, but I also think we should add some more tests first.
I like the idea of adding some more tests because
add another test, either another deposit, maybe. Statement has 2 transactions after 2 deposits.
Yeah, makes sense.
This is gonna already get a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
No one's wondering where that date's coming from yet.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, but I feel like let's solve that problem a bit later.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So this test is now going to force us to actually do something. This is going to be a big test, like a big change.
Right, we need to
you need to run the whole class, remember, I think.
I think it's actually failing because
because we haven't got the annotation.
It needs a test.
It needs the test annotation on top.
Right. Okay. No. Expected. I got that.
All right. So what's the?
So here, we start gonna add lines to a transaction list.
Yeah. So I think rather than having
be careful about big bang changes.
Rather than having balance here, we're gonna need to keep a history of our. I mean, I suppose we could keep the current balance, right? Because we still need that, but we need something to store our transactions, right? Which is gonna be something. Should we create a transaction type for that?
So hang on, it's up to you, right? Like if you want to go straight with the requirements object calisthenics, then sure. But like, I'm all for making it green without, and then making the then refactoring it into a calisthenics. Yeah.
So let's do
let's do that.
So what do we want this to be? A list of what?
Oh, for now, list of
string
int.
Just being,
yeah. Wait. Money?
It could,
no.
Yeah, it could be money. It could be money.
A list of money.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Do we not need date as well, though?
Later. Could be a tuple, I think, but leave the data.
Or are we not? Is that because we use the same date for the second entry in our test?
I think you're right. It needs to be mutable list of.
Yeah, at the moment they're the same dates, Andrew.
Yeah, I would worry about that later. Why am I getting an error here? Or are other people getting
like John said, like John said, if you want to make it immutable.
That wasn't the error I was getting, but that's gone now. Okay, maybe I just needed to save it. Okay, and then so in our deposit, then we want to say leave the balance as is for now. I want to say transactions dot push. Is it push append add?
No.
Why add?
I think you could just dot add. I think you could do dot just plus equals possibly.
Plus equals money amount.
Yeah.
Wow, that's simple.
Very good. Right, and now our format statement needs to change a fair amount.
Well, yeah.
Let's do it the naive way, right? So build it up. So like, say var statement equals, and then just the headers, right? For now.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm missing my Vim motions, Tom.
I don't know if you can install that plugin in the code with me side. You might be able to.
I miss my Vim motions. So we have that statement equals date amount balance, and then what should we just do? Like a for? Oh God, why is this happening?
I'll tell you what. Just before you do that, let's just prove it out here. So if you update line 18, so let's just see if we can keep the first two tests passing while using that statement. So if you get rid of that,
how do I
add that line?
How do I do a string interpolation? Is it like that?
Dollar, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think that works.
Nice.
So that works. But let's go a step further. Let's make it so that we're return statement at the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's still passing the first two.
And then let's add that line to the statement. Line 17.
Sorry, what?
So instead of return, do statement probably plus equals again.
Gotcha.
And then just a line with a new line in front of it. I don't know if plus equals the thing. I'm assuming it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then at least we've got something. You don't need the trim indent anymore. Oh, that didn't work. So why hasn't that worked? Error. Oh no, we're back.
That's good.
Oh, it's the trim for some reason. Oh, because it was trimming the new line off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
So that's starting to look fine, but yeah, let's get the other test passing. So
rather than a for loop, should we just do like?
Well, let's start with a for loop, I would say, and then improve it because we need to loop through all the transactions in the list, right?
Well, you could do it like manually address transaction 0 and transaction 1.
I suppose we could.
What do you think, Tom? Like in terms of baby steps?
I don't have a strong opinion at the moment.
I'm introducing for loops into tests.
So what, you have something like plus transactions.
Yeah, transaction 0. Yeah.
Okay.
So hang on, that's the amount. Yeah, okay.
Wait, the transaction is money. It needs to be.
Yeah, so I mean, like, I wouldn't
translated to a value.
I would just go for the
you can't go.
for loop. Well, yeah, so because here we're gonna need to get the amount from the money class, right?
Is there a to string or something method for classes?
So what, like?
Yeah, I think I'd do it explicitly. Yeah. So maybe even say format string or something like that, so that it's meaningful, right? It's like we're saying, this is money, and money has a textual representation with symbols and whatever. So so I think that should format it. Yeah, let's try that.
Okay, and also a return amount.
So hang on, so you're getting an error here saying that toString is, because it's special, it's a special thing. So you can either give it a different name or you have to explicitly override.
Let's call it format.
What, like with the override?
Yeah, I think it's just the word override in front. Okay, there. Okay. No, I think it's override fun. I think it's override fun.
Well, the way amount is int, so it needs to be converted to a string.
Would it be all right if I'm the only one who typed for now?
Okay, maybe it's not. Hang on, undo that. Let me give me a second. Let me do the magic. It is that. It just didn't do it when you did it.
Fun. Okay.
Right. Now amount.
Can you
dot toString? Probably. Maybe not.
Mm-hmm. You could just interpolate amount.
Okay, and we're back to passing the two.
Oh god. Right.
I think it is. I think the IDE is not keeping up for some reason.
Yeah, it's.
I think the toString was fine.
Yeah. Type mismatch.
Oh, the toString was fine.
Yeah.
To be fair, I'm getting a very weird visual error over here where like the word amount is both white and pink at the same time.
I get the same.
Yeah.
Just ignore it.
Okay. Let me just see if I'm just going to make everyone follow me for a minute. See, there we go. So it's because we're all fighting over the cursor. Whoever's typing, bring everyone to, like, who's typing? Ben?
I am.
Yeah, so just click the thing to bring everyone to you, and then it seems to behave better.
Do I click on my name to bring everyone to me?
Don't know. Click the little person symbol.
What where is the little person symbol?
By your name, there should be a little person at the top right.
It might be a +1.
No.
Mine's got a +1.
No. Okay.
I'll make everyone follow you.
+1 then.
+1. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Right.
So now one more line for the statement.
This is a bit more tricky, right? Because you're going to have different ifs for different.
Yeah.
And
so
that was fine. Hang on, that was fine. What you had there a minute ago was fine.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Transactions 0. You forgot the 0 there.
I feel like we're making this a bit harder than it needs to be at this point.
Yeah, I would just done a for loop, but okay.
Yeah, So that's not going to work because it's for the first test, which only has 1. That's not going to work.
Yeah, exactly. So let's get rid of this, and I'll just do a for loop, right? So for.
Oh no, the second one's
possible. Don't get rid of anything. Don't get rid of anything. Fine. Refactor it properly. Undo. Get rid of the second entry. There you go. So what? How many have we got passing now? Nothing. Why not?
We have two tests passing.
2. Okay. I'm looking at the wrong window. That's right. Okay. So what we can do? Go back to the implementation.
Yep.
So what we can do is let's get so the 500 on the right. Like let's create a running total. right? So if we say, another var in here, let's just do an int for the minute. So inside the format. So just add at the top of that format, var balance equals 0. Just up on under line 19.
Okay, I think the editor just crashed. Oh.
No, I just ran the test because I couldn't see it. Sorry. Go ahead. Second one failed.
Right. So, sorry, I'm adding a running total here.
Yeah, and with a dollar in front of it. You don't actually need the braces, I don't think. Yeah, so define running total as 0 above.
Wouldn't that be balance?
We've already got a balance.
But running total is...
So that's transactions. This gets exciting now. So that's transaction 0. But that's going to be upset now because that's not a type.
Yeah.
That's fine. But now it's upset because, sorry, I think it's all gone a bit funny. Can you bring everyone to you again, Ben?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. So now we got a problem, right? Which is that running total is, we've set it to 0, but we're trying to add things of type money to it, and we can't get the value out of that. So if we make 20 into a money type, line 20, running total into money 0. 0, and then we'll need to make a dot add method on that instead.
Or a plus.
Or a plus.
I don't know how you do override.
So why are we just taking a step back here? Why are we continuing with this when we know we're going to need a for loop?
This is a for loop. This is a for loop. At the end of this, all you'll have to do is change the if to a for, and it will work. So we're keeping the test passing whilst doing the refactoring is the plan.
Okay. Fine. I see where you're going with this.
So in Kotlin, have we got operator overloading in Kotlin?
Yeah, but I don't remember how to do it.
So what we want to do it on the money class, we want to say dot add.
Override, isn't it?
Yeah, you can do add, but there should be an operator overloading on it. So let's have a look. Just do the add first, and we'll. Oh no, they're literally things with names, so it's pluses. I just do add for now. So here's the question. Now this has got to take another money, and it's got to return a money, right? Because this is a value object.
Okay. We're making them immutable, so return new or return money.
Just money.
Amount.
Plus.
Yeah, apart from if you've got two amounts now, so the function, the argument name is bad.
Yeah.
Yes. No.
It should be other or something like that. Right?
Other, yeah, exactly.
Other amount.
Other.
New amount. Okay, fine.
I don't mind.
So can we access the private variable of another instance?
Hopefully we can. Let's find out.
So it needs to be
if you do
amount to int some. Oh.
No. Other amount plus so amount. So that's fine. So amount. No. Leave that as it was. So money. Other amount. So amount plus other amount dot amount. Plus no inside. There we go. Has that worked?
No, because amount is great.
No, it totally has. So line 26. Now you need to update.
So running total dot add.
Okay.
It's telling me transactions is an unresolved reference for some reason.
Yeah, again, John, can you just bring everyone to you? I think the ID's got funny again.
I think it's Ben.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's driving?
Ben.
There we go. So we've got that now. There's our running total dot add, but we can't do that. It's got to be running total equals running total dot add because it's because it's immutable. So there we go. So now we've got that running, and now that should be all but 2. Are we good? So now we can turn the if into a 4.
Also, running total, if it's immutable, that can be val. Oh, no, but it changes. Sorry. No.
Yeah. No. Hang on, you're missing a oh, no.
We're
That's good.
passing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Someone else want to drive?
I don't want to drive. Can I do a little bit of Kotlin magic?
Yep.
So this one, so all of this stuff, we can get rid of these things. I know this is a bit silly. Sorry, it's a bit silly, but it just I like the expression bodies when you can have it. We can also get rid of this 0 now, right? We should still be green. There we go, and we've also got some curly braces that aren't needed there and there.
Let's see. So you can do function equals like in Scala.
If I wanted a dollar sign in my running total, though, would I have to escape it? Backslash.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think it's just clever like that.
This is starting to look suspiciously like PHP. Getting worried.
Why do the tests are just like non-stop running? Why is that happening?
Oh, that's me. I hit Control R every time I type anything.
Okay, right.
It's muscle memory.
That explains why it was just randomly doing it in the middle of me typing something. Okay.
No, I wasn't doing it when you were typing. I only do it when I'm typing.
Wait. Are we not going too far here?
We're just refactoring.
We're still. I think this is reasonable.
We're just refactoring, yeah. So this is what I want. This is the thing I was going to suggest next. Is
is it like that? I can't remember. Is it an arrow in Kotlin? Like, it's not an arrow.
No. It's
colon, isn't it?
Oh, it's close. I was close. Hang on. I've also got the test rerunning. That's not me doing that. Okay, that's fine. Cool. So then we just need to return statement plus. Let's do it as a thing. Statement \n, and then we can do lines dot join. What's a join? Join to. How would we join lines together in Kotlin? Anyone got an idea?
Let's see.
Is it that? No, join to string.
Join to string. If it's an array.
We don't need that.
Okay, fair enough. Join to string on a new line.
Yeah,
there we go. And then we join to string. It was. Hang on, I can't see the differences here.
No, it's got an additional.
It's because the running total. Can't do that because the running total. No, forget that. Because we got the running total, we can't just do a map. My mistake. You'd have to do a reduce or something. Cool, let's leave it at that. So now, in terms of object calisthenics, we've got it passing, but we now have a first-class collection sitting in account. Andrew, how are you feeling?
List money.
Andrew, are you feeling Kotlin ready yet?
Not exactly, but I can have a go.
Yeah. So at the moment we've got a list of. Sorry. Yeah, if you're up for it. If you're up for it, Andrew. We've got
Andrew should drive.
We've got a list of monies, and that's a first-class collection. So we're not allowed to use those.
Okay. So we need what? A
transactions class, do you mean?
So I do a, what is it? Private. Oh.
Make it a list of transaction, or we do that next.
Yeah, next. Yeah.
It probably doesn't need to be a data class. It just be a class, I think.
I mean, a data class. I think the way you would do it is because you could do it in one line, can't you?
Yeah, but assuming this is going to be a mutable thing.
Lowercase add, Andrew. This isn't C#.
Wow, John, you jumped on that within a quarter of a second.
Someone else should probably take over because my ID is jumping around all over the place. I can't.
Okay, that happens if you're driving. You have to bring everyone to you, otherwise that happens.
Yeah, I do that, but I'll try. Let me try again.
So yeah,
I think the issue is actually your internet connection, Tom, because I keep getting like latency warnings in the top left.
Really?
Yeah,
that's possible.
What's equal 90? Is that what we want?
Yeah, you just need a fun in front of add because Kotlin is fun.
Because they're fun. So
it's fun to add
all
money.
The time as well.
So so you got line 17. So a couple of things. Val, that's probably upset because it needs to be a mutable list of if you want to.
Yeah.
So line 8 at the moment list of is immutable. And then also down on, I don't know why that.
It's because it's a val. You need to change it to a var, because val is immutable. So either you create a new list with a new element, but that seems incredibly inefficient. Yeah, I would just mutate.
Yeah, so that's that.
Right, can somebody else drive? My cursor keeps jumping all over the place.
Okay.
Sure.
I'll drive for a bit.
Okay, Tom.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Tom. You haven't driven yet.
So this needs to be a transaction now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But are you already doing transaction class?
Yes, transactions. So that's good. We've now got transactions. We've got transactions here. Now we've got a for loop that's gone wrong. So what should we do? So we can't get to the transactions. We can't loop through that anymore. So what do we want to do?
Can you easily turn a class into an iterator in Kotlin, or?
So this is the thing, because it's not a type. It's a class. You'd have to access the, what did we call it? Is it transactions.transactions? That's fun.
Yeah, but you don't, right? Because so what we could do is we could have a method, because this is the point of this rule, right? It makes you stop thinking about getting stuff out of this and thinking what's the action we want to perform on this thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean,
So
could you get an
theoretically-
iterator from it?
Or a method in transactions, like transactions total up, iterate.
Well,
I don't know.
hang on, it's much easier than this, right? Because if we take this, hang on, I've just realised we're not actually needing balance anymore, right? That's a dead thing. I think. Am I wrong? No, sorry, I am wrong. Running total's good, balance isn't. There we go. So what we could literally do is just lift it in, right?
So you make
So-
it
so
it
this-
the concern of the class, but then isn't the class doing too much?
Well-
I would argue, yeah. I mean, format
Okay.
statement is its own thing.
But I mean, no,
It might be, but what about if you pass a formatter in? Right, so you
That's-
invert the control and then you take that away from it.
yeah.
That's acceptable.
So you could say, I'm wondering if. So we could either ask it to print the whole statement, or we could ask it to give back a list of statement lines.
So I would be of the, but that's like a get transactions thing, right? Which is
Yeah, we want to avoid that.
which we're not allowed to do. So I would give it a statement printer thing. So a function that's like print statements, and it takes in a statement printer, and the statement
Yeah,
printer
formatter.
does the formatter basically, right?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to do that in baby steps. Then I'll pick this one first.
Yeah.
So that's going to be our statement. And then
Think
this
you're
becomes.
Very good.
This becomes. So green. Cool. I'm also getting the jumping around cursor thing. It's a bit annoying.
It's your internet connection.
so there's-
that's the issue.
I'm not sure about that, given that I'm running on my local side and I'm getting it. It might be. I don't know. Cool. So we got that. So do you want to go for the statement printer abstraction now?
Yeah, I mean, just move the print statement. Sorry, move the whole.
Yeah, I mean, I would, because I think this is violating. Because do we have to follow solid in object calisthenics? I guess we do, right?
No.
No.
You don't have to.
Oh well, then okay, then I don't
But you
care.
Yeah, I would argue encapsulation is more important than solid in this exercise.
Let's do the thing. So let's do a string statement printer.
Console statement printer,
which-
isn't it?
It's not, because it's just returning a string.
Fair
It's
enough.
just returning a string. So if we say, let's create a method in here called, let's just keep going with the same thing. The print statement, that will take a list of transactions, but they're currently money, and it will return a string.
Transactions, a list of money, you mean?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. And then
So
that now becomes
transactions.
right, but wouldn't you want to pass
that.
that string statement printer in from outside?
Yeah, but you got to do it one step at a time. So why have I got errors on the screen? Print statement. Oh, sorry, I've put that in the wrong place. So we're still green?
We're still green.
We're still green. Okay. So there's a few things that I'd say we want to do. Let's pull an interface out of here.
What's your
Can
naming
I
convention
suggest
for
before
interfaces?
you go down that route, Tom? Can I suggest?
Yeah.
Not going down the solid route, but instead the statement printer is just a function that we inject. a functional interface?
I can, but I just like it feels like if I just pass that in, then it feels a little bit like we're I don't know. Like yes, we don't have to do solid. I feel like,
but I mean, this
you're
is the
missing the benefits if you don't.
Yeah, this is the whole
Because
point
if
of
you
object
do
calisthenics.
solid and you end up with, things that say statement printer dot print statement.
Yeah, but this thing here, this method that we have here now, this can only take statement printers or subclasses of that. So it's kind of like passing it in is fairly.
Yeah, I would do an interface
like
here for
useless.
sure. So I would do a statement printer interface which has a
I was suggesting,
print method on it.
So the only thing, one thing I will point out is that we are currently driving this entirely from the outside tests, right? We're at a point now where we're building a lot of internal things without any internal unit tests.
You want to consider a test for the formatter?
I'm okay with it at the moment. I'm just pointing it out.
But isn't that fine, right? Because
it's covered. There's full coverage.
Yeah, I'm just pointing it out.
Yeah.
How do I say that something implements an interface in Kotlin?
Well, it's a statement
not
printer,
like that?
not a string statement printer.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, and then that function
now
becomes.
You're on Hybrid.
You need to override. You need to override it or implement.
Yeah. I'm just. The cursor's jumping again.
Yeah, and then the final thing I would do is just rename it to print because it's just two verbose.
Hang on, it's because you've joined twice, Ben. I'm going to kick this one out. I'm thinking I hope I'm kicked. Are you still in?
Yep.
Cool. Okay, I think that might be the problem, that there was two Bens.
Maybe.
Okay, so now, sorry, I got lost for a minute. And so that now becomes a statement printer.
Yeah.
That's there. So what were you saying?
Just change the interface so that it's print instead of print statement. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to stop driving at that point. Well, I say that. We can make it even more concise, but yeah.
Anyway, so I think John's next.
That's another one.
Yeah, sure. I was just looking at how to write types for functions.
I think the next is we need. Well, what are we missing here? I guess the next is the do we want to implement the date or the withdrawal?
Withdraw is much easier. Having to deal with changing dates, I think.
Okay.
Let's do withdraw is like the next level of complexity.
Yeah, let's do a test for that then. So statement has.
Can we extract these to separate files? Maybe it would be easier to.
Do you want me? Let me do it, John, because it's quick and easy for me to do it.
Take out statement printer and transactions.
I'll do them all.
I feel like object calisthenics is like a lesson on how to write enterprise, unnecessarily enterprise software, right?
Why are you thinking about how we did the string printer class?
Has anyone seen the FizzBuzz Enterprise version?
But that's what I was saying. We can just have a function rather than a string printer class, and that can be a functional signature interface.
Can you do functional in Kotlin?
Yeah.
Functions are first-class constructs.
Okay.
So there is a less enterprisey way.
So what are we doing?
Deposit.
Are you driving, John?
Yeah. I'm going to write another test. Going to paste test. Statements as after 2 deposits. Okay, so account with raw.
Take out like 200.
Okay, 200. Expect.
This is interesting.
Oh, we need the signs. This is going to be minus 200. 200.
Yeah, minus 200, and then the balance is 400.
Balance is 400. Right. Don't get the magic.
Tom, can you do the magic thing?
Oh, do you want me to do it? Yeah, I can do it. Oh. I think maybe withdraw. Maybe. Oh, there you go. It's all yours, John.
Thanks. Now we should get.
We got to do not implemented in that class now.
Ah, that's what it is. Okay. So we should aim to have something similar to what we've got.
I mean, basically, it's going to be transactions.add negative amount?
.subtract. So here's the thing. This is the interesting point, right? At the moment, money can have a positive and a negative amount.
Yeah.
But actually, withdraw and deposit actions should not allow that. Like, you shouldn't be able to deposit a negative amount or withdraw a positive amount.
Right. But we are adding to the transactions. We're adding a withdrawal.
So, I mean, but that's
we're not adding money. It's slightly misleading. This.
Yeah, absolutely. But let's make it work. So you can quickly make that work by turning the I into an amount and putting a negative amount in.
Yeah.
Oh, no, didn't realize that was okay.
Yeah, just put a negative amount in there. That should be enough to make it green, right?
The test will pass from that. Should do. Nope.
No. All sorts of things are happening. Whoa, what's happening?
This one, no, the third test has failed because it expected only 3 lines,
because it's got plus minus 200 instead of just minus 200 in the text.
Yeah.
In the print.
Yeah. Yeah. So this gets interesting now.
Ah, right. Okay. Yeah. So
I think you've got your moment, John. I think we need to change transactions to types rather than money.
Right.
So if you go to the issue is if you go to the string statement printer, right? You see where it says on line 7, statement plus equals, right? You see that plus sign just in front of the dollar transaction. That's the problem.
Because it's concatenating.
Yeah. So you get a plus minus 200. That's what we're getting at the moment. So
a string. So you want to say that if it's.
I mean, do we want to? We could just implement the naive way just to get it passing, and then do a whole big refactor. So you could stick like an if statement
I
in.
would do the naive way. So you want plus if it's positive and negative if it's.
Just do a simple refactor of transaction to string.
So string statement printer.
Sorry, do you want to?
So in the string statement printer file, John.
String statement printer. Yeah, I'm in there.
Yeah.
But
so...
it's not showing it to me. That's. Yeah, there's something wrong with the IDE. I'm in string statement printer, but the class is called transactions.
What?
So it's clearly not opening the class for me.
Can't we just change the way
Can somebody else change string statement printer because I don't have access to it?
Yeah.
Can you? Super weird.
Yeah, it just won't open it.
Can you see it, Ben?
Yeah, I can see it. I've got the class string statement printer, implement statement printer.
I can see the interface. That's fine.
Is it just collapsed? Like?
No, it won't open the file.
Oh, okay.
Double click, it doesn't do anything.
Do you want to like try to rejoin the session?
It's just that file.
All right.
Wait,
let's do the naive implementation here, right? I'm gonna do something stupid. So val.
Why are we doing it here?
Just to get the test passing. Right, because it's a format thing, right? So like this needs to be a minus, right? So if transaction has a negative value.
We've already got the minus, we just have a plus minus.
Or does transaction have a... Oh yeah, we've got a toString, don't we, on it? I can't control click on the transaction. Okay.
So if you modify the money class, that's probably the simplest way.
Yeah. So toString becomes dollar amount.
No, that's got it.
Well, okay, but toString. So you also need the, because if you don't, now all the other ones will fail because they're missing the plus sign from in front.
No. You make that do plus or minus depending on the type.
Yeah.
So
there, you just do a turn. Yeah.
State equals transaction is negative.
John, I think, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Ben's changing the money class at the moment.
Yeah.
Aha, right, sorry.
Yeah.
It doesn't like that.
No, because
balance is also a money. So the recurring total is also, or the running total is also a money implement. It's using the money class, so we can't do this.
What happens if you have a negative balance? Does it just show minus?
So implementing it here is not the right way, unless we use a different type for money versus balance.
I'd argue that money should never be able to be negative. Like I can't get minus £5 out of my wallet, right?
Yeah.
So I think there's a difference between a balance and a money, or a transaction and a money.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so maybe I'll just leave this as returning this, right?
just equals.
Yeah. Okay. And then in our statement printer, right? So our running total.
Yeah.
So this is the issue here, right? Like the running total shouldn't be a money class. This should be a balance class, I think.
It can do, but do you want to just do that if statement to make it pass there? Just because it's
Here
broken
in
at the moment.
the transaction.
Yeah.
So
just to make it pass, just so we can.
Okay, but
no, not running total.
No, transaction. If
transaction.
Yeah.
Yeah, transaction dot toString. Like I can't get the money out of the transaction.
Yeah, you
right?
can't.
So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think. Yeah. Okay.
So I need to create a new class. I need to create a new balance class.
No, transaction is negative.
What is the problem with a negative amount of money that does exist in the world?
Because I suppose it depends on how you think about money, right? Because it's like if you think about it in terms of cash, like money in your wallet, then yes. But nowadays everything is digital, so yeah, it's a good question. Philosophical argument here.
I'd argue it isn't money though, right? Like if you've got a negative amount of money, it's generally not the money, right? It's generally a balance or a debt or a credit or whatever, right?
So I would do this. I would create a balance class.
How about you create a debit and credit class?
No, I would just do a balance class.
Mm-hmm.
Right, create that.
Why can't we just rename the money class to be more suitable word?
Which one?
Like if you want to call money amount or something, if it helps.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm creating a new class.
But again, the problem is like it doesn't, because I need to. Again, I can't use the same class for running total and my transactions list, right? Like that won't
unless you have two methods, unless you just have two methods on it.
Unless I have two methods on it, right? But like that seems
put two methods on it for now. Just put them on so that we can get over this, because the tests are broken and we should all be fired.
Yeah.
So let's make the test pass and then improve it.
Okay, so am I creating another toString function? Is it toString without symbol?
Call it toString signed or something like that. Right. toStrings with symbol. Yeah.
toString.
Or you could just get the symbol. Just have a function called sign symbol. I know it's stupid.
I'll call it direction symbol.
Okay.
And that's going to be a string, and it's going to be return plus if.
You've probably got a ternary.
Yeah.
Amount greater than zero, less than 0 or greater than equal to 0. Yeah.
Several options.
Question is, what should 0 be? But hey.
No. But you can't deposit 0 anyway.
You can at the moment. You can do whatever you want.
Oh yeah, that's well. Yeah, I meant shouldn't be allowed to.
Do I need a public keyword in front of this?
No.
You can turn it into an expression though. Okay.
Right, and then here will be transaction. I would like actually, you know what? toString with direction symbol, right? And then I'll do return amount.
I think I'm with John on this one.
What expression?
No, debiting, withdrawal and deposit classes.
We could do that next.
It just makes this genuinely makes me want to claw my eyes out. Like, I didn't think I was gonna hate this so much, but can I do a smart ternary here? That's kind of like Okay, you know what?
Well, you just want to add the amount, right?
Yeah.
To each of them. It's not smart.
Why is it complaining? Type mismatch.
Need parentheses around the first part of the ternary.
Yeah, right. Could be expected tokens use what?
Maybe the ternary is not done like that in Kotlin.
How do you do a Kotlin ternary?
It might just be an if else. No, it is. Okay, so it's an if else as an expression, right? So get rid of we're
going to allow that from a calisthenics point of view.
Yeah,
right, you know what?
Why not?
You know what? It's fine. I'll just.
No, that's a good shout. Yeah. Sorry, that's a good shout, Andrew. That's a really good shout.
Oh, if it's an expression, it may not be the same. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd argue that probably object calisthenics was probably invented when languages didn't have that. Have expression. So you can do an expression there, Ben. You don't need to do returns, but.
Oh, what? So what? Return if this, like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
If we're allowing else, so I would argue.
Yeah, make it pass, and then we'll refactor a bit, because I have some.
We might need to wrap that in braces.
Right. Cool.
Yeah.
Right. What's that difference? Minus.
Oh, I'll just do this. It's fine. Easy. Run it again. There we go. Passing. Right. Someone else can drive.
Brilliant. Okay. I just want to.
Hang on. Can we before we hang on. Before we push on, because I think like we've got differing opinions. We're in a place where we've got half an hour left. Like, should we have a little bit of a review of where we're at and make a conscious group decision about where to move forwards, rather than give me the keys and let me go? So around the room, what are people thinking of where we're at? Ben, you're top of my screen. What's your thoughts?
I mean, like, I'm okay not having a credit and a debit class. I can see the argument of doing it, but it just feels unnecessary.
Okay.
But I mean, I'm also willing to explore what that might look like.
Andrew, what's your thoughts? How are we at the moment? What do you love? What do you hate?
So I don't love that it's quite complicated for what it does. I'm not sure that our refactoring has made it better so far, but I think probably have we actually implemented all the functionality at this stage?
We kind of have, but we also, I think that we've left some glaring gaps in our implementation. Like we have purely gone happy path. I don't feel good about the fact that we have, we allow negative deposits and things like that.
Also we haven't done.
But in terms of functionality, does it do what was asked? Yes.
Date's not implemented.
Date. Oh yeah, date.
I think the string statement printer class is a good implementation. Obviously, it's incomplete.
So here's a thought though. Going back to Ben's thought a minute ago about not wanting to do a deposit thing. If we were to bring the date into here, we'd have to, in our transactions list, we'd have to wrap the date of the transaction in with the money. What type would you like to use for that?
So like transactions at the moment is a list of money, right? When it should be a list of transaction, and a transaction should have a date, an amount of money attached to it, and a direction. And then so it's the transaction that will define the direction of the money flow. And then you can do it. You make it the concern of the transaction class, and then you don't have to do it. You can make it a deposit or a withdrawal enum, whatever, if you wanted to do it that way.
Sure.
But going down, creating a separate class for a deposit and a withdrawal, that for me is too far. But definitely a transaction class. So that's the next thing that I would do to make it properly like work. And then that will also solve the date problem.
How about yourself, John?
I thought it went very nicely and smoothly until we hit that plus minus, which it surprised me how we got bogged down with that.
So
those are my thoughts.
So as a group, what should we spend the next 15 minutes on before we come to our little retro at the end? Or
I'd like to go with the suggestion that Ben made about moving the concern of the plus minus to transaction.
Let's do it.
Yeah, because for me, I mean, a transaction is not a list of money, right? It's more than that.
It's a list. It could be a list of credit objects and debit objects.
I would make it a list of transaction objects.
Fine.
So let's do that. Who wants to drive? Andrew, do you want another go at driving?
Okay, yeah. Seems to be jumping around a little bit less.
So
do you want an additional class on top of the money one, or do you just want to repurpose the money one?
No, so the money we still need, I think.
But we're moving the plus minus functionality from the money to the transactions or transaction.
Yeah.
Okay. So that means we'll have to start guarding that we only have positive amounts in money then. Is that correct?
Let's get to that later. Let's create a transaction class and have a think about what it's going to contain, right? Like what's the data model going to look like?
Okay.
Yeah. So here a transaction needs a date and an amount, definitely, right? And that can be money.
How do I do this? Val, amount, money.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then a date and a direction.
Do you want the date passed in, or is there a date type?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
Why does it keep rerunning the tests? Like every time you change the file.
So then do you want a direction as well?
I think we need to import
or something?
Yeah, I think we need a direction.
I think it's a type, right? Like let's call it. It's not a boolean. It is a. Well, you can start with the boolean. You can start with that, but like it's a credit and a debit, right? It is.
Yeah,
exactly.
I would make it an enum, right? So or however you do enums in Kotlin, right? I'd have a direction in out.
Yeah, that looks good.
Or debit credit, okay. Yeah, same thing. I would do in out just because it's probably
No, it's deposit and withdrawal. That's what the language of the requirements were, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Is that it?
We just need to import date, I think.
You need to import date.
Yeah, I'm looking for.
Can you do that? I think Tom has the power to do magic import.
How do I do it?
Hang on. Let me see if I can do it for you. Import date. Java util. There you go.
Ah, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Why is this a KT file and this one is just a class?
Interesting. It might be just because it was created as a new file and then a class. Oh, it's because it's got two objects in it, right? So it's the other ones because they've only got an enum they've only got one class, one type in it. It's
okay.
Recognizes the type, whereas this is saying it's a Kotlin file because you've got multiple things in it.
Can I refactor it out? Or?
You can do if you want.
I wouldn't worry about it now,
okay,
unless. And then I don't think we need anything else. I think we just need to refactor now so that our transactions is a list of transactions instead, right? And then
if I change this type, it's going to break our tests. Is that okay?
Yeah. So. I mean, and then the job is to fix the.
I mean, you can I would prefer not to break the test, but it's okay. So how would you not break the test?
How would we not break the test?
Why is this? Every time I type something, it changes it.
So to not break the test, you could do a parallel change refactoring. So you'd make this transaction take a type money and a type transaction, and you'd thread transactions in all the way through, and then take money out when it's working.
So do you just want a toString method on this transaction then?
Yeah, I think that.
Override it?
Yeah.
Oops.
Don't even need the toString then. Could get rid of it.
Try.
Like in this case, that transaction to string stuff is probably going to be the whole row, right? It's going to be the date. The problem is it's not going to have is the running total.
No.
Yeah, sorry, I can't type without it moving my cursor around again. So maybe someone else can.
Is everyone following Andrew?
Yeah, I'm following Andrew.
Oh, I wasn't. Okay, now I am.
I don't think you are, Ben, because your cursor's not on Andrew's.
I mean, you can check the stream. It says following Andrew Gibson in the bottom right. I've literally clicked on his name.
Okay, fair enough.
So, every time it builds, it moves my cursor. So maybe somebody else.
Why does it keep running the tests every time you save the file? Like, are you hitting Control R? Have you got test
I'm just wondering if
or something?
Tom's itch.
I didn't have unless something has.
Because I think that's the issue. That's why it's jumping around all over the place. It's like every time the file changes, the tests automatically run.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I can see that happening. I don't know what's causing that to happen, if I'm honest.
Maybe it's just IntelliJ.
Give me a minute. Let me just see if I can.
Yeah, I code with me is slightly buggy, and I have a feeling that live share is better. Try live share next time.
Is it auto test?
Yeah.
You can set an auto
Yeah, there's
test.
nothing. See, I haven't got. I haven't turned anything like that on, so I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know what's causing it, to be honest. We want, yeah, so it's just again, why? What are you doing?
Because
close tab.
Add requires money here. Running total add.
I can't see the file I'm typing in, so.
Oh, code with E IntelliJ.
You need to turn transaction into money.
I mean, to be honest, we've got 5 minutes to get this done, and in that 5 minutes, I think given the change that we're making, I don't think we're going to complete this. So should we go to the retro? Like, I'm happy to carry on if you want, but we've got some technical issues here, and honestly, I think it's gonna take 10-15 minutes to thread this transaction through.
Really?
Let's do it.
So I'm going to create a new file called retro. Hopefully somebody will see it.
I can see I can see the retro file.
Text, yeah.
Okay, so make everyone follow me. So everyone's here. So let's just talk about what did we like, what did we not like, and what do you think are the rules of object? So there we go. Can everyone jot? Oh shit! Everyone jot some thoughts down in that file.
Yeah.
It switched me to a code file.
Switch you to what? Sorry, Andrew.
It's put me in the string statement printer for some reason.
Wow, I'm getting the same problem as well. It's because somebody's there. Okay, it's because everyone's following everyone. Can you stop?
I'm not following anyone.
No,
so
apparently.
Okay. Yeah, nor am I, apparently. Weird.
It's still running. It keeps running.
It's still running the test.
It keeps running the tests.
Right, I've obviously accidentally turned on something that automatically runs tests, and I don't know what that something is. Yeah, it's just yeah.
Because it runs the test and then it keeps on bringing us back to.
So
my ID is frozen now. It's not connecting to host.
Rerun as it's not that one. Oh, not that one. I think that this is possibly not so much a code with me problem and more why the hell are these tests running problem. Calm down. Okay, I'm going to start reading through these. Oh,
sorry.
Weird things happening. Let's start with something we didn't like. Code with me bugs. I wrote that, I think, but I think we probably have a few problems. We've got IntelliJ code with me here. I've never had so much problems with code with me. I think it's something to do with that test running. I really don't know what I did to make that happen. I think it's going to be my fault, but I don't know what I've done. And interestingly, it stopped. So I suspect that if I go into a file and change a file, it's going to try and run the test again. But I don't know what the setting is that's caused that to happen. I don't know if that's a Gradle setting. I don't know if that's a IntelliJ setting.
You can set the auto test delay, but there's no auto test like on or off, it seems.
No, I don't think I had. As far as I know, there was no auto test on, so I'm confused. Somebody's written IntelliJ code with me as probably the same related to this.
Oh.
Was it you, John?
Which one?
I wrote
IntelliJ code with me. Oh, okay.
That. Yeah.
Oh, I should put my name.
It seems to not be as good as VS Code's one, if I'm honest.
I think there's a good reason for that. I think it's because VS Code's one is you get the full VS Code. Code with me, like one person gets IntelliJ and everyone else doesn't.
Yeah, right. So it's the whole like walled garden.
Can you connect it from a full IntelliJ instance?
You can, but it opens a separate instance. So I tried that.
Of code with me.
It opens a separate instance of code with me, and then it's like, but it's childed to the parent. So then if you close the other window, that's happened to me yesterday. It's really annoying.
Okay.
Anything else about that? No. Okay, let's go to data class oriented.
Well, it's a question. I mean, my sort of OOD preferences are, instead of having data classes, to have classes of objects which have behaviors. But it's just a different style of coding, so it's not really a.
I think we would
like it, but that doesn't mean it's wrong. It's just not my preference, that's all.
I think we were aiming for that with the calisthenics. That objects have behavior rather than just data. So maybe we weren't doing it well.
Yeah, I don't think we'd. I think we would have got closer and closer to that, because you know, the transaction now was going to be a value, but then that was going to, you know, that was probably going to, because we wouldn't have been able to get the stuff out of the transaction, so we'd probably be pushing something down into that, asking that to print lines out for the statement. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
So for me, this one I think is just because of the way like Kotlin, the language itself is, like, because you don't have the type keyword, or at least as far as I understand, you can't have the type keyword, which is, so you can't create type aliases. So things like money, right, which is really just another way of saying an unsigned integer, right?
So yeah, it's actually meant to push back against that. So you totally can do that. The point with encapsulating things into classes is that you should be adding more behavior to the classes, right? Like that money, it should be unsigned int. That would possibly be enough, but then, you know, actually, really, when you're talking about money's probably got a currency attached to it. It's probably got, you know, currencies probably have symbols attached to it. So it's about adding validation. So you make the money into a type that's unrepresentable. Like actually money, like the amount of money is probably just an unsigned int. But
I was wondering, type aliases are necessary sometimes.
Does
you have them?
It probably does, actually. I think it does.
Yeah.
pretty sure it does. I think you can just do like type something, type alias, something equals something.
Right.
The problem with type aliases, though, and I'm not sure with Kotlin, but I don't think they're strict. I might be wrong, but like if you say type money equals int, I think you can still pass an int into something that requires a money. So it doesn't give you the type checking stuff. Now, there's a question whether or not type checking is part of OO anyway. It's obviously not. So like maybe, it's not relevant.
See what you mean then.
But it's not type calisthenics, so maybe that's, we don't need to be so strict there. Let's talk. When we're talking about the calisthenics, let's go through them. So I liked it, but we should have we should be fundamental. Shouldn't be. Okay.
Shouldn't be. For example, the print statement, we could type a function and pass a function, inject a function, I mean. We don't need an object there.
Fair enough. That's based on the language, right? Like it depends.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
again. It's probably object calisthenics was probably invented back when it was like Java 6 or something like that. So yeah, fair enough. Very good practice. Avoid getters and setters. So this, John, I want you to talk about this, but I'm also interested that that's the one that Ben called out below. So yeah.
Well, I think this, first of all, avoiding setters, that forces you to think about immutability. Right? You can just set up a class with properties, and to avoid getters, this forces you to think about the putting the data together with the behavior in the class, so that you focus more on behaviors rather than data, and you end up with real OO encapsulation, because having getters and setters breaks the principle of encapsulation, which is not part of solid, and an aspect of OO that I think people ignore a lot. Or
I have thoughts, but I want to hear Ben's first. So I know your one is about more than just getters, but I'm specifically interested about the fact that you called getters out here.
Yeah. I mean, it was mainly the getters about that, right? Because it's like, okay, everything has to be a private, which means I'm thinking of the example of, let's say you have like an object that represents a an entity in a database, right? Like you kind of just want that object to represent the entity in the database, and then you'd create other objects which use that entity to do things. So you wouldn't put the behavior onto that object as well, because then you're coupling too much, right? Your data model to your behavior. So that's kind of like the obnoxious part for me was like, oh, you can't have a getter, but that
for the entity
wouldn't work.
Database class, I agree.
I'm totally with John on this, in that like if you're doing OO stuff, then getters and setters should be like firmly banned. But there's a but, right? But that's for the like inside of your model. Like you've got other types of classes like data, like DTOs and things like that should be, they are just bags of data. But so you have like primitives or bags of data coming into your thing, then you convert it into your object model, and at that point you don't deal with those primitives again until something converts it to come back out the other side. But again, I think that it's interesting. I think one of the really interesting things for this with me is that I think that OO is something that for many years all of this stuff has made sense, but we are getting more and more, what do you call them? Other types of features in languages, like the languages are like multi-paradigm. And so, like, I think this is right. I think I'd still, use a large amount of this. I still use a large amount of this if I'm doing C# or Java or something like that. But I'm doing less and less of that style stuff these days.
Yeah, in Java now you have a record class.
Yeah, C#
It's basically a data class.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's interesting though, because then you can raise that question, because even like Kotlin's interesting because it calls it a data class. Even Python calls it a data class, right? Whereas Java calls it just record. Yeah. So even though it's the same thing, like one is still suggesting it's a class, it's an object, whereas the other one's like, hey, it's just a record.
Yeah, and suggesting it also is something that goes in a database.
In C# you can have a record struct or a record class, so you've got some control over whether it's heap allocated or not.
That's interesting.
For what it's worth.
Was it just getters and setters, Ben, or were there other ones?
I think it was just not even setters, just the getters, right? Like that was mainly the thing that kind of irritated me. That bit me.
I would argue that you could, for it to be practical, like when I do this stuff, I tend to avoid getters and setters apart from at those top level value objects, and even then I will only use them at the edges.
Because like, okay, yeah, I get the argument for like data transfer objects, but that kind of leads into the next point, right? About like it just leads to bloated code, because then you're creating objects for the sake of maintaining the no getters and setters rule, but I feel that just gets in the way because it doesn't actually give you much. I don't think it gives you much benefit, if I'm honest. I'm okay with all the other rules, right? Like I level with all of those. But I don't think I write that.
Yeah, maybe we overdid it with like going straight to the money class.
Because that's the other thing, right? Like a transaction, right? We're talking about the transaction client. Like that is genuinely something that you would probably say, yeah, that is how I would model it in a database, right? You'd probably add a couple of other things like, user IDs and account IDs or account numbers, stuff like that. But that could genuinely be your, yeah, that is the class that I would persist into the database, and having to then have a DTO which maps between that and my internal transaction class just is annoying. So
I don't think that money's an interesting one, right? Because you probably shouldn't ever be writing your own money class. Like it's a done thing. I hope.
Yeah.
Like most people have written a solid money class for a given language, I'd like to think. I might be wrong about that.
But also for the purpose of this particular exercise, I don't think we necessarily needed a money class. We could have stuck with a float decimal.
So so just to be clear, John, we could have, but we would have broken the rules of object calisthenics. So are you saying we should have relaxed the rules of object calisthenics?
Yeah, I mean, I was responding to what Ben.
Mic off.
So it's not about the calisthenics, it's just from a practical point of view.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think a little bit like TCR, it's good to know about these rules and to kind of apply them, but I think you would do it selectively rather than like following it to the T. But I found myself like I got more irritated by this exercise than I did about TCR, for example.
Fine.
And if I judge
Please don't use floats for money, by the way. I think I felt like we talked over each other too much. Like we definitely made the decision at the beginning not to be structured with the mob, and maybe that was a problem. But Andrew, would you like to talk a bit more about this?
I don't think there's much more to say. I just felt like because there were 4 of us, it might have gone a bit smoother if we'd had more assigned roles, especially around who was driving. I know I jumped in and typed stuff at times when I wasn't the driver, and that's it. I guess if Code with me was working better, maybe it wouldn't have been as annoying, but I think it was harder to keep track of what was happening sometimes.
Agreed. I think Code with me really let us down this time. But yeah, I also felt this. I felt it a bit frustrating at times.
It also felt like we had different designs in mind at sometimes, and it was hard to know which direction to follow.
Agreed. Enterprisey. Anything else to add?
What more to say about that? Like, if you've ever seen the FizzBuzz Enterprise repo on GitHub, it just feels exactly the same.
But the thing, so here's an interesting thing though. If you would, how do you feel about solid principles in comparison to this?
I think solid is probably more useful.
Solid will push you down the same path.
Yeah, no, I agree. But I don't think to as an extreme extent, right? Because I think a lot of the the fact that we needed a statement printer class.
Solid would have pushed you down the same path.
Yeah, well, that was my comment about passing functions rather than.
I think the difference though is that solid is a set of principles, right? Whereas this calisthenics is deliberately hard constraints. So
yeah. I think that's kind of where I was going with what I meant is that with solid you can be like, yeah, I know, but whereas this feels like, again, because we're talking about them being rules, it forces you to do things that you might not necessarily want to.
But if you do solid to the level of strictness that you do this, you get it. It's like as soon as you look at things like the interface segregation principle, like that gets super granular, and people don't tend to do that.
You're not wrong.
And if you do, then it gets very, very similar.
You're not wrong, and that's fair enough.
Kotlin?
Give me something to think about.
Yeah, Kotlin was interesting.
The more I use it, the more I like it. Multi-paradigm and what's the word? Less confusing than Scala.
Fair enough. Calisthenics, have we covered that to death yet? John, anything else you want to add?
I like it as an exercise. It's very, very good exercise in thinking about, that's it.
Yeah. Kotlin again, Andrew?
Yeah, I covered this years ago, but I'd completely forgotten about it, and it just came back to me, so it was interesting to just remember it.
Cool. And the best for last. John, would you like to talk about my voice?
Yeah, it's you could be a radio presenter, Tom, I think.
Or a DJ.
Sure about that, but thank you.
No, I'm not sure a DJ.
It's already a DJ.
Well, I say thank you very much, and thank you to our hundreds of listeners and watchers.
Thanks for leading this, Tom. Actually, as much as I complained about it, I did enjoy this exercise. Give me a lot to think about.
I think these exercises, like taking this to the extreme, taking solid to the extreme, throwing objects out the window, going full functional to the extreme, that I think they're all really good things to do, even if you don't apply that in your daily life. It helps you understand things to the extreme.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been fun. Thank you.